We respectfully acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation as the traditional custodians of the land in which this video was filmed.
Hi, I'm Crystal Kinsella. I'm a proud Jarwin and Wiradjuri woman, a supply diversity expert and published author. Welcome to Meet the Mob, a YouTube series dedicated to showcasing Black excellence in business. Here I get to interview deadly First Nations business owners from around the country and learn about their why. Today I'm joined by Troy Rugless from Pacific Services Group Holdings, who will share with us his why he got into business and why PSGH does what it does. So hey Troy.
Hey Crystal, how are you?
Yeah, you want to tell us who you are? Who's your mob?
Yep. So my mum's father, he was a Wiradjuri Torres Strait Islander man. So one out of my four grandparents he was actually Aboriginal and TI. So a bit of both.
What a mix there on the islands and
unbelievable.
To Central Western.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I know it's a bit of a long story to it, but it's let's talk about it. At that time where they used to do that blackbirding and pull people off the beaches up in the Torres Strait to come and work down in the cane fields, and that was one of our relatives, one of the Jacobses from up there. So ended up, I don't know how he ended up down in Wiradjuri country, but he did. So half my luck.
There you go. Well, that's something I didn't know about you.
Yeah.
Far
That's where
out.
the blue eyes, green eyes come from.
Yeah. That's really cool. I mean, because I've known you for quite some time now. If I think about my 10 years in the Indigenous business sector, I mean, you're a bit of a legend, a bit of a trailblazer. You and PSG. I mean, it's one of the biggest and largest Indigenous-owned companies in Australia. Yep. Well, talk to us a little bit about that.
So we started, it's nearly 12 years ago now, and it just started, I'd finished playing professional football and was in the Fire Brigade. My dad was a fireman, and seen that was a pretty cool job, so I was in the fireys for a while and decided to start our own business. And my cousin, Shane Jacobs, was we had trades and a lot of the building trades in our family, and so we started a cleaning business first just to do some construction cleaning and that with them, and brought some friends in, and we stumbled across it was called the IBE at that time, which is now the IPP, the Indigenous Procurement Policy, which was the IBE. And that gave us a whole new probably look on our business and a bit of focus and a bit of positive thing for us to achieve and look at engaging with an Aboriginal business, and then us doing the same down the line. So
So look, talk to me a little bit about your why. What gets you out of bed? You've been in business a while. Like, what's driving you?
Yeah, I suppose at the start it was like I've lived in these two worlds. Like my dad's, he's white, blonde hair, blue eyes, and seeing the opportunity for his family, and then seeing my mum's father's family, the opportunity for them, it just wasn't right. There was such a big gap between it growing up and what he could actually do compared to them. So that was probably the start. I was just a bit passionate about, just being fair and something that we believe was wrong, and that's what you fight for, I suppose, in life. If you're doing something, if you've got a cause and you've got a reason why you're doing something, it's I don't think you can go wrong if you believe in that, So that was probably the main drive. And then I'd love to see our kids, your kids, my kids come through, and like if I want to start a business that's got that same level playing field as non-Indigenous businesses have. So that's the whole reason we're doing it.
Well, talk to me a little bit about PSGH as a business.
Yep. So PSGH started nearly 12 years ago now. It's a construction, maintenance and cleaning division. We built it up over that 12 years to a pretty good sized business. And there come a point where when we were working for these non-Indigenous businesses in that FM space, that facilities management space, like the JLLs and the CBREs, and it always seemed to me that, that's enough. You're still hand on head sort of thing will keep you there. Yeah. So we decided to start Evolve FM, which is a 51% majority owned by PSGH and 49% owned by JLL. So it gives us that big corporate backing, but with an Indigenous flavour. So we run, we've got great outcomes. Some of our contracts within Evolve, there's 90% Indigenous engagement. So it's something we probably should talk more about, but people try and hit 3, they're hitting 90. Yeah. So with some of their contracts. So that's a good thing. And I think we're probably going to do another little thing we got in an eye in the fire there with construction, which will I think be a game changer. It's not just there yet, but I'll be able to tell you next time.
You are seen as some of the trailblazers from the early days because, am I correct in saying that PSG was one of the first Indigenous businesses to win a government contract under the IOP?
Yeah,
is that correct?
Direct negotiation.
Yeah, direct.
So that was the Garden Island project down there, the Bangor Garden Island team. So that was a joint venture with Lend-Lease. We actually won the project, and after looking at it, it was too big. So we de-risked that by tendering it out. So we made them tender on the project. So it was Lend-Lease, CPB, I think Lang O'Rourke at the time. It was about 6 or 7 years ago. We chose Lend-Lease to be our partner. And it was a fantastic relationship, that project down there. It was $213 million project. Great outcomes, considering it was a wharf water project, which, not many Indigenous businesses have the ability to do a wharf, do anything marine stuff. So, but what we did do is made those contractors, when they were going to employ people or they were putting on staff or they were looking for an apprentice, we pushed them down into our Indigenous pipeline, and it worked really well. Yeah. So it was good.
Yeah. You've kicked some big goals when it comes to Indigenous employment is sort of one thing, but also your supply chain in having Indigenous businesses embedded in the second and third tiers. Like, what's been the point of difference for you?
Look, I think no good, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us going on the ride. I think the whole blackfella sector needs to come along. So that's how we grow, and that's how I look at it. It's not worried really about, my self-importance. It's about everyone. So if you can take away your ego a little bit and tap into helping other people and other businesses and employing as many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as you can, that actually really improves your business as a whole, makes it more attractive for everyone else to engage. So by getting the ego out of the way and actually helping business becomes better. So it's something that I'd probably, one thing I'd say to people that are starting a business, you need to sometimes push that ego away and concentrate on what you're doing, and like I said, do the right thing. And usually that's the key.
Yeah. Well, as I think you're probably one of the largest Indigenous-owned businesses, like what next? Is there something that's in the future on the horizon for PSG?
I suppose it's to keep going. Like, I really think that, setting your goals, completing those goals, and then setting new targets. I'm always a believer in moving forward and pushing the limits. I think because the bigger Indigenous business can become, the more of an outcome you can have. So we found out on that job down there what you can do once you start getting into these really large projects. You can make such a difference, and that can streamline right back to community. So say, for instance, there's stage 3 at Garden Island, which is massive. It's $6.4 billion. So for an Indigenous business to have some part of that, you could connect into the La Perouse Land Council, which I'm a member of, Metro Land Council. There's so many avenues you can take to actually change, the lives of people in community and businesses in community. Yeah.
Well, you've actually kind of held a lot of ground, and you hold government accountable, you hold the corporates accountable, which I think has been really valuable to other Indigenous businesses because you're paving that way and creating these opportunities. Yeah,
I just think it's deserved. Like, really, you look back at time, and I think my grandfather went to war, wasn't allowed in the RSL club. It's not that long ago. My mum couldn't vote. Until I was born in 1970. It was 1968 before our mob could even vote. So it's not really that long ago. And I suppose so. There's a lot of ground that needs to be caught up, and hopefully that does by the time our kids grow up and their kids grow up. That hey, you just get the job because you're the best business, and I think that's the whole idea of this IPP. And to get to that stage where it's just you're the best business, you win the work, you know, based on what your ability. So and that's where we want to get. That's all what it's about.
Yeah. So what's Troy's legacy?
Legacy? Oh, geez. I suppose it's not really about me leaving a legacy. I think the legacy would be that we've actually helped create a level playing field for other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander businesses. That it's an easier process for people to get employed, our mob to be employed, to start businesses, and just get a fair go. You know what I mean? Like this, not, you know, same opportunities. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. So if you've got a message then for aspiring Indigenous business owners out there, what would it be from some of the lessons you've learned over these last 12 years?
It gets, I suppose you can get a little bit down because you get held down a little bit, but you've got to be resilient. You've got to keep going. Have your passion, have your drive, have your pathway on what you want to do, and don't give up. It's easy to give up. We need our mob to be strong, successful, so then you can implement change that's going to help everyone. So that would be my message.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I just want to congratulate you on you're the same. You've had a great career. You've done what you want to do. I really admire what you do. I've known you for a long time too, and I'd like to congratulate you on what you've done. And all the best for the 2023.
Thank you. Same to you. Well, thanks so much, Troy, for joining me today.
Thank you.
So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed the latest episode of Meet the Mob. And make sure you connect with Troy and share his story with your networks. Until next time.